what's up, you guys? It's Daniel here. I just wanted to say that the video you're about to watch is an excerpt from my stream over at twitch.tv/DanielTheDM, where we went through, broke down every single thing about the Blood Hunter class. It was over 2 hours long. I'm eventually going to put the full VOD over on the channel, but first I wanted to give you this excerpt from it where I just gave my thoughts in general about the class and some feedback that I had. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hype up the video. I would greatly appreciate it. Shout out to my patrons for making this stuff happen. And remember, if you want to see me on the Darrington Press YouTube channel, you can see me on Thursday night. Yeah, this upcoming Thursday night, I'll be doing a one-shot of Daggerheart with our crew over at Bitten, which is our Daggerheart actual play. You don't have to know anything about our world or the previous season. It's a one-shot, new setting, new characters. Super excited for you guys to check it out. But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. I want to recap everything that we've seen on the stream so far for Blood Hunter. I think that this is a very, very interesting, high risk, high reward interpretation of the Blood Hunter. I think this has way more flexibility and customization in the way that you want to approach your character. If you want to make Geralt of Rivia, you can do that. If you want to make, I don't know, Scarlet from Mortal Kombat, you could do that, right? Choso from Jujutsu Kaisen. There are so many different characters that you can make in this version of Blood Hunter, and there's so much flexibility with the domains, the rules, the classes, etc. My big point of feedback that I would give, and this is before I play, and I definitely will be playing this class as soon as possible. My big point of feedback I can already give is that there needs to be an ability or a spell card or an ability card available implemented that lets the Blood Hunter be able to clear a hit point or stress earlier than level 7. There is an ability, and I'll show it right now. Level 7, Vampiric Strike. When you make a successful attack roll against an adversary and cause them to mark 2 or more hit points, you can spend a hope to clear a hit point or stress. I think this is a great balancing of moving around resources in order to clear other ones, because you're hardly going to be using your hope anyways, besides to activate your Blood Maledict. And I think being able to use a hope in order to clear out some of those would be super beneficial. And I would replace that with Blood Puppet. Blood Puppet, I believe, is at level 3. Swap those places. Blood Puppet is incredibly powerful and possibly game breaking because of the way it's worded, to where you could control an adversary and they have no cause or concern for how it would harm them and the actions that you make them do. There's no limitations on them just walking off of a cliff or purposely putting themselves in danger. This is a possibly game breaking thing that you could cast on the big bad evil guy and get away with. So if it's going to remain as is, I think it needs to be swapped with Vampiric Strike. And regardless, I think Vampiric Strike needs to be at level 3 because, one, it makes it competitive and not necessarily mandatory, but it's going to be there at a point where you'll have Burning Blood to pick from, and also from your Blade domain, you're going to have things like Soldier's Bond to pick from, which would end up giving you 3 hope. You're going to have to make choices, and that's good. And also, Vampiric Strike does not negate the need for you to have a team. You're still going to need someone who could, if you're out of potions, you're screwed. If you're not managing your hit point usage or your stress usage, if you're playing the werewolf, Order of the Werewolf or the Lycan, and you're constantly going to be going through stress and be in vulnerable states all the time, if you don't have a Seraph a part of your party, you're screwed. If you don't have somebody who can help alleviate some of those conditions, you're cooked. So it doesn't negate the team aspect of it. I just think that Vampiric Strike and having that earlier on in a character's career makes them more functional and self-sufficient, but not in a way that negates them needing a team at all. I think this is an incredible class. I think it gives you the ability to deal damage very, very well. It gives you a whole bunch of versatile options for social encounters and also for role play as well. This, out of the gate, is incredibly well done. Again, my only feedback is that they really need to make sure that there is a way to mitigate some of the constant costs. And it's very clear in the design that they are very aware of the high stress costs, just like they were with the assassin, and the assassin having the ability to use 3 hope to clear some stress slots, right? And the way that they somewhat get around this is, and show that awareness, is that your recall for your cards are incredibly low. I don't think there is a single card that costs 3 stress to reload, to recall. All of them are 0 or at max 2. And that's very rare. And you're looking at level 7, 8, 9, 10, and you have a level 10 card that only costs 1 stress to recall. So your vault is going to be stacked, but you can easily swap out of it, and it's not going to cost you as much as other characters, right? So they're very aware of that in the design. I just think overall it needs something to help balance that out, because I can already tell this is a character that's going to be dying all the time. But that's also the nature of being high risk, high reward. But I think sometimes the risk outweighs the reward. And especially you see that in the way that some of these abilities are written. Some of these abilities need a second pass to, I think some of them are way too expensive for what they do. The amount of damage that you deal or the amount of support that they offer do not equate for the amount of stress. This level, like for example, this level 1 ability of Blood Spike, you have to make a spellcast roll already to see if you hit. If you roll with fear, that's going to go to the GM, right? After your turn is over, right? Because they're going to have a fear. But not only that, if you failed with fear or you succeed with fear, you mark a stress already. But if you succeed on your hit, you still have to mark a stress to deal an additional D10 of magic damage to your opponent that's equal to your proficiency. So to me, it's already expensive and high risk as it's already built in. And it's double risky that you're going to have a marker stress. At that point, I would rather just go up and just punch the guy in the face. You know what I mean? I'm going to rather go up there and just slash the enemy. So that's just my personal opinion with that. But all of the subclasses and the way those look are incredible. They're flavorful. I think the weakest of them is probably the Lycan, but I think the Lycan transformation in general is a little bit lackluster. And again, it's the problem of too much risk for too little reward. I think that is the main thing that has to be balanced out with this class, where you feel like you are risking your life using blood magic in order to deal damage and have utility, which is a thing I do have to give praise to the dev team for, is that there is a ton of utility within this character. It's not just you're sitting there doing one thing and being selfish. You have a lot to offer a team in every single type of scenario. But again, we need to balance out the risk and reward. Beyond that, I am incredibly impressed with what I've seen with Blood Hunter. I think this is miles better than what we had in Dungeons and Dragons. And I think it's just for the simple fact of you have more resources to play with. Hope, fear, stress, HP. You have so many different things that you can sacrifice in order to gain different effects or barter for different things to happen on the battlefield. And I think that's great. I think all the subclasses, other subclasses look great as well. I think the mutant, Order of the Mutant, is incredible. It's incredibly powerful. Might be too powerful with some of the stacks, with some of the effects that could be stacked, because I mean, you can negate most of the negative effects of the class. And you can just make a super tank, super giant, superhuman. I think maybe there is not as much risk as compared to reward for that subclass, but everything else looks great with it, and it looks super, super fun. I think the first one I'm going to try is the Ghost Slayer. I think that's going to be the first one I give a shot at. And we're just going to see how it goes. We're going to see how it goes from there, and work with that class and try to work with all the subclasses. I love that they did 3. There's a lot of versatility. I really like the blood domain. Again, we just got to do a little tinkering. But I think this is a great start. I think this is a great starting place for what we have on offer. So yeah, chat, I think that's where we're at. I think it looks pretty good.